Book 7, Union with God, the Heights of Prayer and Love. Welcome to this video on Book 7 of the Treatise on the Love of God by St. Francis de Sales. Today, we will explore one of the most beautiful aspects of our relationship with God, the union of the soul with God in prayer. St. Francis de Sales, a doctor of the Church, was gifted with a profound understanding of the soul's capacity to be united with God through love. In this book, he unpacks the different stages of this union, culminating in a spiritual rapture that draws the soul into the heart of divine love. Prayer is the key to this union. It's not just about speaking words or reciting formal prayers. Instead, prayer is a means by which the soul deepens its connection with God, continually pressing itself more closely to His divine goodness. St. Francis de Sales uses beautiful imagery to explain how this union unfolds, and I hope to walk you through these key ideas. Love and the soul's union with God. In chapter 1, St. Francis begins by illustrating how love works to unite the soul with God. He uses the image of a child who presses itself to its mother's breast. This image of trust, dependence, and closeness captures how the soul moves towards God in prayer. Just as the child clings to its mother, the soul in prayer presses itself toward God, drawn by love. St. Francis de Sales explains that this union has different levels. Sometimes it's like merely touching something, but at other times it becomes a deep, intimate pressing of the soul against God's heart. This pressing is not something the soul can accomplish alone. It is God who initiates this union, drawing the soul close to Himself. Our role is simply to cooperate with His grace, to allow ourselves to be drawn closer and to respond with love. Degrees of union in prayer. As we move into chapter 2, St. Francis discusses the different degrees of union that can happen during prayer. At times, we may experience a union with God where we are only passive participants, allowing God to draw us close. At other times, we actively seek Him, cooperating with His grace and running towards Him, as St. Francis de Sales describes it. Sometimes, our experience of union in prayer is so deep that we are fully aware of God's presence, and it feels as if we are making the first move. However, as St. Francis de Sales reminds us, God is always the one who moves first. Without His grace drawing us to Him, we would never be able to even begin the journey toward union with Him. In all these degrees of union, whether we are passive or active, the ultimate goal is the same: to be united to God, allowing His love to penetrate every part of our being. This movement toward deeper union is not always immediate. Like a tree slowly extending its roots into the earth, the soul gradually sinks more deeply into God as it remains united to Him in prayer. Rapture and suspension of the faculties. In chapters 3 and 4, St. Francis de Sales introduces the idea of rapture. This is an intense form of union where the soul becomes so absorbed in God's love that the faculties of reason and senses seem suspended. The soul is carried beyond itself into God's presence. This experience of rapture isn't about dramatic emotions or extraordinary mystical visions, but rather a deep and peaceful drawing of the soul into God. St. Francis de Sales compares this to a weight that naturally falls toward the center of the earth. Just as the weight is pulled down by gravity, the soul is drawn toward God by divine love. It is a gradual and gentle movement, almost imperceptible at times, but constant. As we remain faithful in prayer, we experience this unseen pull, drawing us ever closer to God. One of the key aspects of this rapture is that it's entirely God's work. While we may feel certain moments in prayer, such as a deep longing or sense of closeness, the union itself is not something we can force. It is God's gift to us, and we simply need to be open and receptive to His love. Ecstatic love in action. St. Francis de Sales doesn't just speak of union with God in prayer as a mystical experience. He also emphasizes how this love translates into action. In chapter 5, he describes how love for God transforms not only our interior life but also our external actions. When the soul is united to God in love, it naturally overflows into works of charity, service, and devotion. This is what St. Francis de Sales calls ecstatic love in action. Ecstasy, in this sense, is not just a fleeting moment of spiritual joy, but a way of life. The soul that is united to God in prayer is drawn out of itself and becomes more focused on serving others. This union with God becomes the driving force behind all that we do. We are no longer living for ourselves, but for God and for the good of others. Signs of true rapture and ecstasy. In chapter 6, St. Francis warns that not all experiences of rapture or ecstasy are genuine. True rapture always results in a deeper love for God and a desire to serve Him more faithfully. If a person's prayer life is focused more on seeking spiritual experiences for their own sake, without leading to greater charity and humility, then it may not be a true union with God. Authentic union with God in prayer always produces good fruit: humility, love of neighbor, and obedience to God's will. This is the key test of whether our union with God is genuine. If our prayer life makes us more self-centered or proud, then we need to examine whether we are truly seeking God or merely seeking spiritual consolations for ourselves. Conclusion. To summarize, Book 7 of the Treatise on the Love of God shows us that prayer is the gateway to union with God. Through love, the soul is drawn into a deep and intimate relationship with God. A relationship that grows deeper the more we open ourselves to His grace. Whether we experience this union as a peaceful resting in God's love or an active pursuit of His presence, it is always God who moves first, drawing us ever closer to His heart. This union with God isn't just about mystical experiences or moments of ecstasy. It's about transforming our whole life. When we are united with God in love, this love overflows into actions, leading us to serve others and live a life of charity. This is the essence of the union St. Francis speaks about in this book, a union that perfects our relationship with God through prayer, love, and service. Thank you for joining me today as we explored Book 7 of the Treatise on the Love of God. I hope this talk has helped you understand the beauty of the soul's union with God through prayer and love. God bless you. Live Jesus.
In the stillness of prayer I find you near, my soul in love drawn ever clear. Like a child in a mother's embrace, I press closer, seeking your grace. Oh, how sweet the union we find, as love and soul are intertwined. In the silence, in the song, with you, oh God, I belong. Union of love, so deep, so true, my heart forever longs for you. With every breath, with every prayer, I am yours, Lord, everywhere. Draw me closer, hold me tight, in your love I take my flight. Raptured in wonder, my soul takes wings. In the heights of love, I begin to sing. Your beauty shines brighter than the sun. In your love, we become one. Oh, how sweet the union we find, as love and soul are intertwined. In the silence, in the song, with you, oh God, I belong. Union of love, so deep, so true, my heart forever longs for you. With every breath, with every prayer, I am yours, Lord, everywhere. Draw me closer, hold me tight, in your love I take my flight. Oh, oh, oh. Like Francis and the saints of old, your love's the story ever told. In death or life, and joy or pain, forever, Lord, with you we reign. Union of love, so deep, so true, my heart forever longs for you. With every breath, with every prayer, I am yours, Lord, everywhere. Draw me closer, hold me tight, in your love I take my flight. Oh, in your love my soul's delight, united with you,